everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It is I, Captain Logan. Joining me as always is my chat moderator and co-host, my son Jason. Good evening, folks. You know, whenever it's been a couple weeks, it always feels like it's been a couple of years. We are back from a short hiatus to be on for a short couple of week on period and then to go right back on another short hiatus because it is the holidays and we're going to be doing some traveling at the end of the month, of course. So we will have a couple of very normal weeks and then it'll be spotty with some just occasional streams after that. And for us, occasional usually means like a couple of streams instead of 5 or 6. So you still probably won't be able to completely get rid of us. Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I am good. Lots of crazy fun things going on. We've been working on the movie real hard. We had a great shoot last night. Trying to get some editing done. It is very slow going, but what we've got is looking really good. I keep talking about this. I can't wait to show it to you guys eventually, but hoping to work on that some more over the break. I've got a big announcement about a channel thing that I'm going to tell you guys about right at the end of the show tonight that I've been kind of bandying about the last couple days, and I've finally decided to pull the trigger on it, and I'll tell you guys what that is right at the end of the show. So stay tuned, stick around, won't you? Tonight's lead-in topic, we're going to react to a Screen Rant article, the dreaded Screen Rant. They do a lot of top 10 lists. You know, if you go and look at the Screen Rant feed, it's like 3 full pages of things before you get to earlier than 24 hours ago. Like, I don't know how many writers they have.
They have a bunch, and they're all, like, not good. Like,
that's what
they all have to stick to a specific kind of, like, boundaries, and so, and, like, a specific kind of word count.
Oh, is that right?
It has to be really long and drawn out for no reason.
So it's super restrictive.
Yeah.
In a broad kind of way.
Yeah,
that's really strange. Well, anyway, I found this top 10 list topic, and if people find this at all interesting in our response to it, we might do a follow-up next week or another time with another one that came out like 24 hours before or after this one. I don't know if it was the same writer or what, but this one is bad decisions in MCU movies. It's the actual title of the article is MCU decisions that aged poorly. And when people saw the title for this, for our show tonight, in the comments before the show started, everybody everybody brought up, like, like creative decisions they don't like in the MCU, but the idea is it's in canon, and we can talk about that all day long, but it's in canon decisions characters made that maybe people were more on board with at the time or didn't notice, that when you really go back and think about it are kind of dumb, kind of bad. Why did they do that? It seems like a big mistake. Seems like maybe it's out of character, or maybe it's too big of a leap in logic, maybe it's a big plot hole. And I found another one that is that more broadly with just superhero movies in general, decisions that that characters make in not just MCU but also DC stuff and other things. So we might tackle that one as well. That was originally the one I was going to do tonight, and I got this all set up and realized that the article that I originally looked at was actually that other article. So I went, fine, we'll respond to this one, and then maybe I'll do the other one later on. So we're back to MCU tonight, folks. I have not looked at this ahead of time. Beyond just like the number 10, because I saw that in deciding if we were going to do this. So this will be a full-on reaction, and we'll, I'm sure, think of
Spoiler alert, it's 10.
We'll think of our own and see if some of ours show up in this. But anyway, as always, we'll do the lead-in topic for most of the first hour, and then second hour we'll do a lot of Q&A. But preceding that will, of course, be Jason's segment. And Jason, what are you going to talk about for us tonight when we get there?
I'm gonna do the first solo how I felt about it on a new thing.
Yeah, crazy, because I didn't see this movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a review on Wicked.
On Wicked,
because that just came out and I saw it. So
we'll
talk about that.
This was a thing that I did not call when the previews for this initially came up. I didn't think that movie would perform. It's apparently doing really well.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't looked at the numbers.
It's a fan base that like really likes the thing that they're a fan of. So,
well, yeah, but so is Star Trek.
Really
just those people showing up is not going to make, you know what I mean, just theater people. Like, musicals don't typically make a lot of money, and then you'll get, what was that Hugh Jackman movie that did big guns relative to that genre several years ago?
I don't know.
I can't remember now. It was Greatest Showman. That's what it was. You'll occasionally get a Greatest Showman.
Oh, right.
And this seems like that again, but it's been a while. And there's a couple other movies that are out right now that I kind of thought would bomb that aren't bombing. Like, some stuff's doing better than I... Like, apparently that Rock Santa Claus movie is doing well.
Oh, like is it really? That looked, the red one? That looks terrible.
Or Red One. Yeah, that looked awful, and I didn't think it would do anything. And apparently that's doing okay. So yeah, it's really odd. Like, you look at those things, you go, I mean, I guess they're not coming out against a whole lot of competition, but that doesn't mean that they're going to perform. Mm-hmm. You know, you'll have weeks where just people don't go to the theater because it doesn't look like there's anything worth seeing.
Yeah.
So... anyway, a little shocked by that. I haven't looked at the numbers. I don't know how well those things are doing. I was just, while I was looking for stuff today, I saw a couple articles that were like, Red One is dominating the box office, and I was like, people are seeing that? Like, okay.
The heck? Okay.
Gooster, Wicked made me feel so many things. A year-long intermission is so tough. Yeah, people are really liking it. I guess I'm more curious to see it than I was.
I think you should,
because I wasn't gonna go. It didn't look like my thing. It just looked like another modern, overly CGI, messy musical, and people are liking it. So I don't know.
It is. It's not super. It's not as messy as I originally thought it was going to be, but it does have some things here and there. But it is very much, I feel like, your kind of story, because it's that X-Men First Class thing where it's the two bad guys were once friends and then they...
Oh, well, you know how much I love that trope when it's done well. Because Transformers was the best thing I saw this year.
Right.
It has that. So I was just looking at the comments here, because another one... Cinegraphic, I don't know if you can convince me that Red One did perform. I mean, apparently, but somebody was talking about another... Oh, yeah, Gladiator 2. I didn't think that would make any money.
Yeah.
Apparently that's doing well. Dan's Den says that and Moana and Gladiator 2, to a lesser extent, has made this Thanksgiving the biggest ever. Yeah, all movies, I thought, besides Moana 2, I figured that would do okay.
Yeah.
It hasn't had... I mean, I haven't looked real deep into it. The couple of reviews that I saw kind of, here and there didn't seem real happy with it.
Okay.
Like, they weren't glowing or anything. Maybe the kids are liking it fine, and the critics are a little bit more discerning, of course. But
I don't know if I'll see that in theater. I'll probably watch it.
Everyone I know
later.
that has seen that movie, Moana, loves it, and I still have never seen it. I just missed that one.
It's a good movie. It's one of the
should probably finally
last
watch that.
good Lin-Manuel Miranda things. So
Oh, okay. We should probably show that to the girls then.
yeah.
Well, anyway, as always, 10 minutes preamble. We probably haven't actually said anything yet, so we should get into the show.
Let's say things.
As always, if you'd like to help direct the conversation, leave a super chat in any dollar amount. That guarantees that we'll talk about your topic in the second half. If you want to leave us a topic or a question about anything under the sun within reason, but if you want to talk about anything we bring up in the first half, we will of course respond to those as in the moment as we can, and you can direct your non-super chat questions and topics. We'll try to get some of those as well to Jason there in the regular live comments if you're watching live, and if you're not, you can't participate because that's not how interacting with living people in the moment works, but we appreciate you watching the show later on. You can tag Jason at Jason with a Y, everybody. Jason's name is with a Y. Everybody spells it wrong because we spelled it weird, so that's not on them. Like, I do think it's weird that everybody spells, not you guys necessarily, but like a lot of people in our family and stuff spell Freddie's name IE instead of with a Y, and I feel like Freddie is as common with a Y as it is with IE. I understand people misspelling your name, and the family all gets that right because of the kind of cutesy nature of your name, I think.
But it does happen outside of the family a lot.
All the time, yeah.
All the
that's
time.
understandable. Anyway, at Jason with a Y, at Video Game Secrets, or at Geekvolution Hoodie, Jason will respond to any of those things.
Look at me.
And more. And now we're going to open the show with a Patreon question.
Sure.
Is anyone else shocked that I remembered, finally,
I'm shocked and dismayed.
how the format of my own show works?
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to open with a Patreon question, and quick plug for Patreon, patreon.com/geekvolution. Just the $2 tier, just the bottom tier, lets you ask us a question ahead of time in case you can't make it, or in case you don't want to leave a super chat, but you want to make sure that we talk about something cool that you thought of. You'll get to do that once a month, and we will answer that question no matter what it is, again, within reason. But so far, they've all been reasonable. Even if they're silly, they're reasonable. Go ahead, Jason. What is our Patreon question for this evening?
Our Patreon question for this evening, our opening Patreon question for this evening, is from the Amalgam Nation. Where do you fall on this question?
Well, I guess that's the...
And this question is...
That's what answering a question will tell you.
What would happen because of a zombie apocalypse?
Ooh.
Would humanity be essentially completely wiped out in months, if not weeks, or would we hang on pretty well for years after? And, of course, why do you think this or that?
Yeah. Well, of course, it depends a little bit on the nature of the zombie apocalypse. Like, how quickly do people turn? How hard are the zombies to fight off? All of that. I mean, if he's just saying... If the question is really just the kind of Walking Dead social question of, like... obviously society would have to break down to some point, like to some degree, and then the question is, can enough of us band together and trust each other to build civilization back up, or would it be like a Walking Dead scenario where everybody gets really, really splintered into little groups, and then whenever you come upon another group, you're not going to trust anybody that's not already in your inner circle, so it's likely that just everybody kills each other. I have a hard time not being a little bit cynical with this, where I think Walking Dead has it more or less right, that like the species would hang on for dear life, but we'd lose a lot of us, right? And it would probably be a good 100 years before you really put civilization anywhere back to where it was in the first place. I would think maybe 50, maybe 100. Again, it kind of depends on all the circumstances surrounding it. So it's kind of hard to say. I don't think, again, just depending on the nature of the actual virus or whatever turns people into zombies, that it would spell the complete end of humanity. I think we're likely to hang on, at least some of us, for a long time. But then I probably partly just get that from dystopian science fiction, that in order to tell a story you have to have some humans that survive. So I always look at this
There's
as,
also a lot of this, so
if Terminator, that's true too. If Terminator happens, you've got an underground resistance. There's at least a small handful of people left. If Planet of the Apes happens, the humans get subjugated, but there's a small number of them left, and then eventually they're maybe able to rise up and take the planet back, maybe, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But what do you think? I mean, I think without a very specific set of circumstances, it's a difficult question to answer.
Right, depends. It's like, what are each country's, like, leaders at that point, It just kind of depends on, everyone, like...
Do you think that some of it depends on how, like socially divided we are in the first place?
I think so.
Like, does that make a difference?
Yeah.
Because that means we're pretty screwed if it happens right now in this country.
I think so.
I'm sorry to say. But maybe not. I mean, like, like, different sections are more bandied together than other sections, certainly. So, I mean, you also have to remember that when you're just looking at a nation like the United States, it's very, very big. And not, no two states are exactly alike, and so you have different swaths that are culturally very different from each other. Mm-hmm. And so, for better or worse, just because you have a whole divided nation doesn't mean you have entirely divided communities, and it's like that could help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Regardless of what they're divided or what they're united around, even.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's a real kind of ambiguous enough question that it's hard to give a real specific answer.
Yeah.
Dan's dead. A lot of people would scream that the zombie apocalypse is fake. I think you with a thing like that, as soon as like you lose power and everything, you get to a place where you just cannot deny it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you'd probably have a few, morons that would still try to claim that the whole thing is a hoax or whatever, just a really elaborate one to the point that it crumbled the society intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that would be super prevalent.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into tonight's lead-in topic. If you guys want to talk more about zombie apocalypse later on, we can totally do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is Screen Rant's article here. Yes, it has devolved to this, Jason. It's devolved into a Screen Rant reaction.
Let's rant about Screen Rant.
Let's Screen Rant. MCU decisions that aged poorly. So, as you say, these articles tend to be pretty wordy, so I may not read every single little piece of it. In fact, before we start reading this, why don't we just think of a few real quick?
Okay.
Things that we think might show up on this list, or things that we think should come up on this list. And you guys in the comments leave some ideas also. Like I said, there were a lot of things at the beginning of the show, but most of it was more creative decisions than things that characters did. The first thing that comes to mind, and I imagine, for me, and I imagine this will probably be on the list, especially given the thumbnail or the picture that they put together for this article.
You're going to talk about something with Wanda, right?
No, with Captain America.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. They're likely to include, and I would too, Steve Rogers putting the plane in the ice at the end of First Avenger, which just doesn't feel like he really has to do. It feels like a really forced kind of self-sacrifice so that he can wind up in the place that he has to in the future. And that's the thing I've complained about a lot on the channel. And if you watch the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project on Friday, you'll hear me complain about it again. Because that is, in fact, the movie that we're doing this week. So that's fresh in my mind because I'm working on that movie right now. But that is probably going to be in here. Mm-hmm. And it is definitely something I would say.
I'm trying to think. I know there's one that I complain about in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh.
Or at least that
well, that's pretty recent for an aged poorly list, but I also kind of question the title of this a little bit, where it's like, well, some of these things probably didn't really make a lot of sense at the time either. But aged poorly can also just mean the further we get away from it, the more we kind of maybe build on that decision, like a House of Cards, in the continuity, in the world building. So yeah, but sorry, what were you gonna say?
I don't actually remember what it is.
You don't remember what it is?
I know it's something with like, why didn't Wanda just go to another universe after that one didn't work out? Like, it was something like that. I don't remember.
Oh, sure.
I know there was something, but
yeah, we talked about this in the commentary a couple of months ago. I've always kind of questioned a little bit whether. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what exactly it is too. You get all these movies in your head.
Yeah.
But the very specific situation with that one Wanda was always really weird to me, and I didn't really get why it had to be that one. See, I had kind of the same thing you did. But this isn't really a decision thing so much as just I always thought it was odd that we didn't know anything about the status quo, the situation with that other universe Wanda. Like, where's her husband? Who was her husband?
Yeah.
Like, were they all single mothers? Because wasn't the idea supposed to be that every other Wanda had children, but that one, or but ours wasn't that the idea? Well. Anyway, and a lot of people like to say, why can't you just create your own? And maybe there should have been more of a discussion about that. But I can kind of get, yeah, but she wants them to be real, and if they come from another universe, they're more real than coming out of her imagination. So I kind of get that. Should have been more discussion about it. Nicholas Bodo, what about Tony giving his home address? That's a good one in Iron Man 3. Yeah, Audacious Jones. All the ones that you're mentioning right now again are creative decisions. Not so, like you say, female Taskmaster killing off T'Challa, like things that he doesn't like that we did in the MCU. And yeah, there's a ton of those also. But this topic is about choices characters made. Iron Man never fought the real Mandarin. Yeah, I'm with you about that stuff. I mean, yeah, we could say things like Tony Stark. This is one of Austin's big ones, and I'm with him. Tony Stark not really having a drinking problem, stuff like that. But this is more, just weird choices characters made. Well, let's see what things they said and if we agree with them, and I'm sure other things will come to us as we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 10, I'm gonna skip their preamble and just jump right in. Number 10, Wanda using the Darkhold. So there is some Disney Plus stuff on here too, apparently.
Okay.
I saw 10. I forgot about this. So I wrote movies. I'm sure most of this will be movies. This is a Disney Plus TV thing. After the events of Infinity War and Endgame, Wanda. Let's see. Wanda's grief over losing Vision spilled over into WandaVision's story. After discovering Agatha's manipulation, Wanda is able to break free and end the Westview Hex. These are all things we know. Spoilers for everything. The show ends with Wanda opting to use the Darkhold's corrupting power in an attempt to locate her family within the multiverse. Now, full disclosure, it's been a while since I watched this show. The decision aged incredibly poorly as Wanda's role in Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness cast was as its villain. The Darkhold's power transformed Wanda into the Scarlet Witch, making her incredibly powerful and entirely relieved of her morals. The decision to use the Darkhold forced her into conflict with Doctor Strange and ultimately led to her death. So I guess this is more like just poor choices characters made that, like, I guess I'm not immediately understanding this list, and I'm already starting to get why Screen Rant, because I haven't read a lot of Screen Rant stuff, has the reputation it has. Because I thought this was going to be more like plot holes and things. But this seems to be more just, decisions that if you're that character, you probably would regret. Yeah. Like, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad choices for the stories. Now, I have heard people complain about this as a thing that they thought was out of character for her. And some people still say that Multiverse of Madness seems to contradict the ending of WandaVision somehow. I still don't totally get that. Like, the whole thing with her and her kids at the end of that is odd, but I don't really see anything about her using the Darkhold that is then contradicted by her being the villain in Multiverse of Madness. I don't really get that if people are making that argument. But yes, it's a bad idea to open a book of evil and let it corrupt you and turn you into a crazy person. Yes. There's also a part of me that, and this gets more into creative choices, that kind of would have preferred, and I know a lot of people aren't with me on this, because they like Wanda and they maybe didn't want to see her go dark or didn't want to see her go dark the way she did, but, you know, the comic book character does dance back and forth between hero and villain. There's a part of me that kind of wishes we could have gotten her there without some kind of corrupting evil force. And it seems like the trope, the thing that you have to do in order for the character not to be so completely irredeemable that you can't bring them back to being a hero again later on if you really wanted to. And that's a little bit cop-outy to me. So like, I like Multiverse of Madness. A lot of people don't. And I like finally taking her full villain. I didn't think that they would go there.
Because I like Evil Wanda, is the thing.
Yeah. I didn't think they would have the guts to do it. So I really appreciated that. But they still have that out a little bit. So that she's not... so that she's not so unsympathetic. And you still have the excuse of, well, is she entirely to blame? You know, I think you could have maybe gotten her to that place without her being, possessed or corrupted or something. Their number 9 is T'Chaka leaving Killmonger behind. Yes, that's a bad idea. He shouldn't have done that. That's what that movie's about.
Yep.
You know? And T'Challa berates him about that in the afterlife.
Yep.
Right? I'm not even going to read this. We all know what happened in that movie.
Yep.
Okay. All right. This is not the article I thought this was. Let's move through it. It was a decision that eventually came back to hurt Wakanda. Yes, that's true. This thematically is what this movie is about. Is that he, went against his principles in order to keep Wakanda hidden, and the question is whether it should have stayed isolationist in the first place. And so, doing the right thing and having values is maybe more important than... Why do I have to just explain what the movie's about? All right, moving right along. Number 8, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner creating Ultron.
Yep.
Shouldn't have done that. These are also, by the way... you're going to hear me get louder because I'm increasingly more irritated by the pointlessness of this article. Did an AI write this? Okay, so these are, I'm going to double down on what I said about the title of this article, Jason, because these are not just things that have aged poorly. They're tragic choices characters made that were the crux of their character arc in the film as you're watching it. Yes, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner shouldn't have created Ultron. Although I think, thinking about it like that, maybe Bruce Banner does not get enough of the blame for helping with this. Well-intentioned though Stark might have been, Ultron's creation was a mistake. Yup. All right, number 7, Tony Stark publicly calling out the Mandarin. There we go. Now we're getting it. It's like they just couldn't come up with the bottom 3.
Yeah.
Now we're getting
hopefully the rest of them,
into stuff, because this isn't so much about the character arc as it was just, I don't totally get why he did that. Because then his house got blown up. What did he expect was going to happen?
Yeah.
We're seeing here in real time the difference between and I don't understand why I have to explain this, but the difference between being out of character and mistakes writers intentionally have characters make in character so that they can either learn something or refuse to and have an arc.
Yep.
Because you have to put characters in a position where they can have an opportunity for change. And what makes a story is, everybody say it with me, a character wants something, they try to achieve it, through doing that, they have an opportunity for change that they either take or don't take, and through that and through whether or not they actually get the thing that they're after, we learn something about them, and they may or may not learn something about themselves. That's what a story is. And this article seems to either fundamentally not understand that or cannot come up with the bottom three. But we'll see if 6 through 1 actually follow the premise that the article set up.
Well, at least 7 was,
Predictably, the Mandarin then attacks Stark's mansion, comprehensively destroying it and almost killing both Stark and Potts in the process. Though the villain is later to be revealed to be a disguise, Stark's public taunting of the antagonist still aged poorly. This aged poorly thing.
Yeah,
it's like they're stuck with that word choice for some reason, because it's in other articles too, as it led to the destruction of his home and a considerable portion of his technology. To establish the situation in the first place, to create the breaking status quo. That's the inciting incident, as it were. Okay, number 6. Star-Lord punching Thanos. I mean, yeah, I'll buy that one. I've heard people complain about this. I think a choice that I would...
This is a dumb choice.
A choice that I would throw out before this would probably be... And it probably won't come up now, since we already have a Thanos one. But the Thanos one I would bring up, of course, is just cut his arm off.
Yeah.
But I'm not the only person that's ever said that, of course, but that was weird. Or at least try. And also, a decision that Thanos made, I hate this aged poorly nonsense, but that was just, I don't know, not everybody agrees with this, but it never made sense to me, that he should have thought better of is just, be imaginative and creative enough to, assume that maybe the Infinity Gauntlet, being all-powerful, does other things than just take out half the universe. Like, think of any other way to solve that problem. And I know some people get irritated whenever people bring that up, where it's like, well, maybe the Infinity Gauntlet doesn't do that. My issue with it is just that we didn't talk about it. It's just, why doesn't anybody... And this isn't even just Thanos. This is every character in those movies. Every single character, because not one of them ever goes, well, wait a minute, you have this thing that's all powerful. You got a time stone, you got a mind stone, you got a space stone, you got all these things that all, when they come together, seem to give you godlike powers. And even if it's not as godlike as it is in the comics, why doesn't anybody ever go, well, I wonder if Thanos could have solved this problem some other way? Maybe we still wouldn't have wanted him to play God, but did he have to get rid of half the universe? And also, is that even sustainable? Then Thanos destroys the gauntlet. What does he think is going to happen I guess he doesn't care what happens in 500, 1,000 years when we're just right back in the same situation again.
Nicholas Bodo says Thanos is kind of an idiot when you think about it.
That's what I always thought. That's why I never liked movie Thanos as much as a lot of people did. Loki replacing Odin on Asgard. Well, the issue here was more just... we never did anything with it. It's the one really neat thing in that movie. You get to the end of Dark World, and it's like, oh, holy crap, we're setting up for maybe a way more interesting movie that might get into more Asgardian politics and
be cool,
actually let Loki be not just mischievous, but conniving and move building blocks in the background and, actually be a master manipulator.
Yeah.
And then we just didn't do that.
No.
Because we decided the problem with Dark World wasn't that it was boring, but that it wasn't funny enough.
Right.
The decision to take... So, what you want to do when you read these, apparently, is skip the first paragraph and just read the second paragraph. The decision to take Odin's place aged poorly, as Thor Ragnarok established in its opening scenes. Abandoning Odin on Earth led to the death of the Allfather, enabling Hela to break free. Well, I guess that's true. This made Loki indirectly responsible for the eventual destruction of Asgard, all because he opted to deposit Odin on Earth and badly impersonate his adoptive father in order to seize control of the throne. But this gets us back, and I hadn't really thought about it like that, but that gets us back into the category of, is it a decision that aged poorly, or is it, actually, at least retroactively when you get into Ragnarok, just a creative choice? Right? When he decides to vie for power with his mischievous nature, Yes, there are going to be consequences for that. He's the bad guy. Number 4, Doctor Strange's memory wipe spell.
Yep.
Okay, but this one I'm with them on. Being
Yeah.
in a list like this, but again, it's not aged poorly. It was stupid then.
Yeah, it
it's
was
this.
really
This
stupid.
is out of character. It's another decision that a character makes just to make the inciting incident happen. And there are about 19,000 potentially better ways to contrive that situation. I always thought. Let's just move on. Thor, I'm ready to be done with this. Thor recklessly attacking Jotunheim. At first glance, I thought it said journalism. And I kind of wish that's what it was now. Thor recklessly attacked journalism. Thor's violent outburst and attack on Jotunheim plays directly into Loki's hands and facilitates his brother becoming a full-fledged villain. It sets. Well, that's true. But once again, also the rank list here seems completely arbitrary, just like where they fall number-wise.
Yeah.
But once again, that's part of his character arc. And was a decision made intentionally on the part of the writers to have a character who is power hungry and irresponsible, and what's the word I'm looking for? And it's just my brain is turning to mush trying to react to this article. A hothead, or not a hothead, but just a kind of a kid that hasn't grown up yet, that just rushes in and does whatever he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's just about glory and fame, and he's not thinking about the consequences. Yep. Backing the Sokovia Accords. Decision to support the Sokovia Accords aged poorly, as it led to the disbanding of the Avengers after causing a rift between prominent MCU heroes. That is true. And I always appreciated Civil War for going that direction with it, because I'm kind of on the side of the Sokovia Accords are a bad idea. But and then number 1, using Captain America to sell war bonds. What? What? They're number 1 is Captain America. So they bookended, or they didn't bookend with Captain America. They left this to the end. This is not what I thought it was going to be. Captain America crashing his ship into ice when he didn't have to. It isn't that. Considering the combat efficiency and leadership abilities later displayed by Steve Rogers, it became clear that sidelining him was never a good idea.
Yes, that's the point.
That's the point of the
the
movie.
movie.
All right, I'm ready to move. I'm very ready to move on. All right, well, I hope everybody enjoyed this latest episode of Waste Your Time Volution, because that's what we just did. Noel Anderson, the worst decision Marvel made was Howard the Duck. That's not MCU. Unless you're saying Howard the Duck as a cameo was the worst decision that the MCU did. But yes, that's a different.
So I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of 10 bad choices characters made in the MCU.
Wonderful. Thank you for saving the segment.
And ChatGPT gave me around like 3 or 4 that were actually in this list.
Okay, read them off.
Okay.
Read them off.
Here's a list of 10 bad choices made by characters in the MCU.
Now, chances are, because ChatGPT pulls from everywhere,
right?
So they probably pulled from this article too.
Maybe, but
is it worded real different?
This is only like a day ago, so.
Oh, okay.
Like this article.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it's out there.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't
know. Austin says Howard the Duck is the best decision Marvel made.
Okay, number 1, Star-Lord attacking Thanos.
Oh, yep, that's in there.
Yep, that was in there. Number 2, Tony Stark creating Ultron. Yep, that was in there too. And then number 3, Wanda creating Westview.
Oh yeah, that was a bad idea. She shouldn't have done that.
While her pain is understandable, this decision causes immense suffering to innocent people.
Yeah. Not to mention it's illegal and wrong.
Yep. And then number 4...
ChatGPT, give me a list of things that are wrong. Just immoral, unethical choices people can make.
And then number 4, Thor not going for the head in Avengers Infinity War.
That's also a really popular thing for people to complain about.
Yeah.
Which is a better choice for that list than the
Star-Lord
thing. The Star-Lord thing.
Yeah. Even though it's kind of obvious. Although all of those were really obvious. Number 5, Loki betraying Thor repeatedly.
Oh, okay,
So-
sure. Well, that's better. It's like learn your lesson at some point.
Yeah, Loki's
But
constant
he's the god of
scheming.
mischief, yeah, and he just can't help himself. And he's got, you know, like daddy and brother issues.
And then number 6, the Ancient One using the Dark Dimension's power.
Yeah, that could have
Doctor
been.
Strange.
Yeah, that could have been on here.
It's secretly, yeah.
This is a dumb topic.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking
Now
about
that I
it.
understand the topic, it's not what I thought this was going to be. I guess I should have looked at it ahead of time. We could have all saved ourselves 20 minutes and had probably a better show. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, are we gonna do the other one at some point?
Maybe.
the other one I
you said
mentioned?
that one was good, so.
Well, I didn't say that. I read the first two, and they seemed like understandable things to bring up.
Yeah, well, one of them seemed like something that you.
One of them is the thing I've complained
You've
about.
complained about,
repeatedly. Yeah. So we might do the other one. We might give Screen Rant one more chance,
Yeah. And then.
but not today.
Zemo's revenge plan in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And Ego killing Meredith Quill. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he shouldn't have done that.
Yep. And then Stephen Strange's arrogance.
Austin, the Star-Lord one is more awkward because it's the diet version of the scene with Ego from Guardians 2, and after he blows Ego away, I don't buy he just awkwardly slapped Thanos with his gun instead of shooting him. Yeah, that's true too. He was just really intimidated by giant scary purple man. Not to be confused with regular-sized scary purple man.
Which is actually scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're getting about old enough I could probably finally show you Jessica Jones. Because, I mean, we've been watching Penguin, and, I mean, that's about the roughest thing I've ever shown you.
Yeah.
But, by the way, we are hoping to get a full spoiler cast for Penguin out next month before Christmas. I'm not promising anything just with how busy we are with stuff, but hopefully that will happen. Jason still have a couple more, and I have a couple more left to watch that we'll do this weekend, and then I want to rewatch the whole thing before we talk about it. So sorry we've been slow to get to that. We did do a how we felt about it on the first episode, and I mean spoilers. I still really like it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind telling you now it's a green sign flip unless they just completely screw the ending up, and nobody I've talked to says they've done that. So. Nobody spoiled anything for me yet. I appreciate you guys. Please don't do that. But I don't know what the ending is. I just know that people seem to like it.
Yeah.
That I've talked to anyway.
Do I like it?
Well, we don't know. You haven't seen it yet. What are we talking about?
I don't know what we're talking about. What are we talking about?
So there is yet another superhero-related documentary coming out this year. I think it's supposed to be the end of this month, maybe the beginning of next year. I'm not sure. It was a little bit cryptic about like showtimes and things. It was like it's playing somewhere maybe, but and also like the Christopher Reeve documentary, it's also about Superman. But
The Christopher Reeve documentary was about Superman. Yes.
There's this new documentary called Selling Superman that's about the guy who's passed away now, but his family is interviewed in it, who I think he's passed away. It seemed like that's what the documentary was, or the trailer was getting at, right? Is that he's passed on now?
Yeah.
But he had the I think second best looking Superman #1 of all time, and I think it's one of the really famous ones that sold for a ridiculous amount of money. And he was a hoarder, and they go through his insane, really obnoxiously valuable comic book collection, and it seems like there's a lot of like family drama around it, where he and they play it up to an almost like, I don't want to say comedic degree, but they lay it on real thick, right?
Yeah.
Like the tragedy of this man that lost his family over his collection of comics that he kept under lock and key and didn't let anybody know what was even in it and what it was. And like, it sounds like a horrible situation for his family. I'm not making fun of them or knocking this documentary for telling this story. It just seemed like they're being a little bit sensational about it and kind of, playing it up really hard to go, no, don't worry, everybody. There's actually an hour and a half's worth of material here to make a whole movie, which I'm not convinced of until I see it. It does not seem like the thing necessarily that needs a whole movie to tell that story, but maybe it's worth watching. So it seems interesting. My main reservation about it is just it seems like it could be a really padded out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw that trailer. Did that look like a thing you'd want to look at?
Yeah.
Maybe
it looked like something that I would want to look at. Yeah.
So we might review that when it comes out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, we are 15 minutes before the hour, so we'll take a break in about 15 minutes. We are past the lead-in topic. We're actually early, which is really unusual for us.
Yeah.
But I finally just had to blow through the last few of those because that article was really kind of bad. I'm sorry to say.
Dang it.
Do we have any cool questions so far about just anything? Because we can go ahead and do a little bit of Q&A right now.
And
start throwing your questions in.
Yeah, start throwing questions
right now or for the second hour.
It was mostly about the topic, so.
Another thing I found out. Well, I mean, we can talk about anything related to the topic.
It was mostly just people saying that the article.
The article's bad. Austin sent me a short today. I haven't seen a full trailer about this yet.
Oh.
About this.
What the heck?
About this TV show that I did not know. Was this a Netflix thing?
No, this is a Prime thing.
Oh, this is a Prime thing. So as far as I understand this, and if anybody knows more about this,
Secret Level.
if anybody knows more about this than I do, please leave comments and tell me what this is, because I've not looked deep into this yet. There's this new show called Secret Level that is about to premiere, I think, next week. Animated. That is an anthology thing. I think it's animated.
Mm-hmm.
Is it entirely animated?
It is entirely animated.
And each episode is supposed to be a kind of like, it looks like dark reimagining of some video game. And
it has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
What? The teaser I saw was a completely unrecognizable Pac-Man world.
Yeah.
And it looks very silly. And it looks like Zack Snyder made it.
Okay, so
Zack Snyder did not make this.
And there will be a Pac-Man, and there will be a Mega Man one.
Yeah, Austin told me there's a Mega Man one.
And a Dungeons and Dragons one.
Okay.
And
it's not even primarily a video game.
Yeah. And a Warhammer one, which also is not primarily a video game.
Yeah, that's weird.
And a Spelunky one.
What is that?
Spelunky, the mining game.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Is that an old game? Is that a...
No, it's newer. It's
okay.
like...
So they're
like Xbox 360.
So they're all over the place with their subjects here. Because I thought, with the Pac-Man thing and then hearing Mega Man was one, I thought maybe it would all be just older classic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like they either just got self-indulgent and went with whatever the creators of this are personally interested in, and or whatever they could get the rights to easily.
Yeah.
What else is in there?
They're doing an Outer Worlds episode, which...
I wish they'd do a Galaga one.
Yeah.
They're doing Pac-Man, then follow it up with a Galaga one. So are they supposed to be like 20, 30 minutes, or are they longer than that? What are you seeing? I did no research on this, and didn't even know if I was going to bring this up, but we had a little bit of time, and I thought that was a fascinating and really ridiculous-looking thing.
It, so.
Okay. I don't know how they got
He's going to be in the Armored Core episode.
Okay, so... this looks nuts enough. I kind of want to watch it and do something on it.
And Kevin Hart is in it.
How did they get these big names?
Why is this like really dark and gritty video game thing have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Hart, and Keanu Reeves in it?
My worry with it is too many of these are just things I don't know anything about or care about.
Mm-hmm. I am curious about the Mega Man one though.
Yeah. Me too. It sounds like
bad... the Spelunky one, I feel like that could be really fun.
It just sounds like bad fanfic, right?
Yeah, it does.
You know what this sounds like? This is... this is... Imagine Stan Lee creates video games.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
Austin... Yeah, what is Concord?
Concord is a
Plus, the action people in the comments are saying that's gonna be one. I don't even know what that is.
Is a game that just came out that is I think it's a first person shooter that like just came out this year. That I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, it came out this year for PS4 or PS5 and.
Hey, can I backtrack for a second?
Yeah. Just PS5.
Here's a bad decision made in an MCU movie.
Sure.
How is Tony Stark at the end of Age of Ultron just jumping in his convertible and driving around like nobody's going to be trying to arrest him for what happened with Ultron? And then why doesn't anyone try to arrest him for what happened with Ultron?
Yeah.
So this is a bad decision made both on his part and the part of the government. Like, yeah, there are consequences with the Sokovia Accords and everything, but you're telling me you have to come up with a whole legislation package before you go after Tony Stark for creating a thing that tried to destroy humanity? I mean, like, arguably, and this would be the case that you'd think would be brought, like, arguably, Ultron is just a machine that a guy made, and the guy is responsible for it. And again, he is held accountable to some degree, but Tony Stark is one of the main proponents of the Sokovia Accords. And so you got all these people in Civil War that they're trying to throw in jail because they won't go along with the Sokovia Accords, but nobody tries to throw Tony Stark in jail for creating Ultron? Mm-hmm. That was always one of my big ones that just came to me again. Nicholas Bodo, because he's rich cap. I mean, I guess. But, you know, he had hearings that he had to go to in Iron Man 2 over whether or not he would even be allowed to keep the Iron Man suit. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't get called in front of Congress or anyone over this?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point.
Okay. Austin, does anyone know he made Ultron? I guess that's a fair point. It didn't seem like it was a secret. You know? I mean, like, all the Avengers do, but maybe they're not going around telling anybody. And it's not like he has Tony Stark's voice or he's, you know, looks like Tony Stark. But even still, it looks enough like Stark Tech that somebody should at least be knocking on his door and being like, hey, were you involved in this? Because you're the only person we can think of that would be capable of doing this.
Right. And also, Ultron looks suspiciously like some Iron Man tech.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is, agree or disagree with the one I'm talking about right now. It's better than most of what was on that list and should have been listed there.
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
I agree. All right, let's get some questions.
Let's do it.
Makura asks.
Hi.
Last time I asked about Oracle the cat.
Yes.
So today I will ask about Apollo the dog. Is he safe? Is he all right?
He's okay. Apollo's. I was petting him just before this show, in fact.
Apollo the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It is weird how long we've had our pets and that they're now like middle-aged pets. I can't really get my mind around that. You know, when you look at the things in dog and cat years, like in my brain, my dog should still be puppies because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago that we got them.
Right. But in like human person years, he's like
40 something, 50. Yeah. Yeah, and then you start thinking about your pet's mortality, and it starts to get kind of sad.
Yeah.
Because you go, oh, how many years do I have left with my pets? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I love my pets. I want to think... What I want to say is that I probably am not, like... Because everybody's different as far as their, you know, sentimentality with pets and stuff. Some people go all the way to the point of acting like their pets are their children, which I think is weird. And then some people, their pets are just kind of like other things they own, and they take care of them, sure, but if they lost them, they wouldn't really feel anything about it. Mm-hmm. I'm in the middle, you know, like, yeah. I will be sad when Apollo goes, when Artemis goes, when Oracle goes, but I don't know that I'll be like, I mean, I guess it depends on the situation. I don't see myself, you know, like, if they die just of old age or something, like, I don't see myself, you know, like, crying myself to sleep or something over it.
Right.
you know. But I've not really lost a pet before because we didn't really have pets growing up. So I actually don't know how I'll respond to that, you know, when that happens. I almost said if that will happen. I will probably outlive my pets. But anyway, I don't know. That got dark fast. That wasn't even the question. I don't know.
Britton Atkinson says pets suck.
Austin, anyone who feels nothing about losing their pets is a monster. Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, feeling nothing. And I also get, like, having a pet from childhood. Like, I would probably be a lot more emotional about that.
Yeah.
And I know that'll be rougher on my kids than it will me. And that's a normal thing I think everybody goes through. But, Brayden Atkinson, pets suck in my opinion. But anyway, no, our pets are all great. And I have to constantly remind myself that they're older than they are. But Apollo is the easiest of the two dogs. He's the smarter of the two dogs.
Yeah, he sure is.
He's the most well-adjusted of the two dogs. Mm-hmm. Because Artemis is... they were all three of our pets are rescues. But Artemis was like physically abused and was in a really bad emotional state when we got her, which was part of the reason that I kind of insisted on taking her home. Because I was afraid nobody else would. And I thought she really needed a home. And she bonded with me pretty quick. And I don't mean to act like my wife had no say in the matter or anything, but I was real quick to be like, Sarah, this is probably the one if you're cool with it, because I felt really bad about where she was. And we nursed her back to health and got her as well adjusted as I think she absolutely could possibly be. Mm-hmm. But that is not a smart dog.
Yeah, so
but we love her.
So Apollo would be 63 in human years.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like Jackie Chan or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got good dogs. What type of dog is Artemis? They're both
Chihuahua
mixes. Yeah.
But she's a something that's like a tiny German Shepherd.
I forget what that's called now.
It's like
yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of it either.
I used to know.
Kira, thank God Almighty, Apollo is safe. Hey, we've got time for one more before we go to the break. If you have anything there,
yeah.
We can talk more about our pets if anybody. I don't know what to say about my pets.
Artemis the dog? All right, Miguel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Hey, Cap.
Yes.
I'm starting a comic book reading club with some friends.
Oh, cool. That sounds fun.
We're hoping for some interesting non-superhero picks. We have Mouse and Persepolis. Is there anything else you'd recommend for it?
Well, and as you know, I'm so much of a superhero guy and such a mainstream guy that I have not done anything like as much outside superhero reading as I should. When I was reviewing new comics regularly, I read a lot more. But the stuff that I would point to you to is probably close to or a decade old or more. I haven't read anything non-superhero lately at all. Mm-hmm. But I would throw you and I don't know like what kind of club this is and how like adult the material can be, but I would throw you Why the Last Man and Paper Girls
and Klaus.
Both. Well, I'm starting there because those are both Vaughn. Those are the same author. Okay. And then with Morrison, Klaus is one of my. Although Klaus is superhero-y in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It kind of reimagines Santa Claus as a superhero, but more as like a Viking hero. Mm-hmm. But yeah, obviously that's in there. What I read of Black Science I really liked, but I never finished it. Everybody Goes to Walking Dead, obviously, which I love. What I've read of it, I never finished it. There's a couple things.
Yeah, I haven't read too much that's not superhero. I mean, at a young age, I fell in love with Bone but that was like kind of the only thing I was reading
Yeah.
that wasn't superhero. But and then some other things that like were based on properties.
Oh, sure, like Back to the Future.
Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and yeah.
Braden Atkinson, does your club accept manga? Yeah, that's a question, because there's obviously a ton of non-superhero manga that's more popular than, arguably, than a lot of their superhero stuff. And then I'm going to Death Note.
Yes. And I would go for non-superhero.
Centipede Keeper, is Paper Girls related to the Paper Girls TV show? I forgot they did an adaptation of that, and I think they got canceled before they got very far. I'm not sure if that's true. Just like Why the Last Man, which also Vaughn did not get very far, and was bad. Like, I liked the pilot, okay, and then it just all went downhill from there, and I didn't read anymore. I didn't watch anymore, and then they canceled it. Thank goodness. But yes, Paper Girls is that show is an adaptation of that comic book.
Okay, so.
Austin, The Nice House on the Lake is a new one I read recently that's really good. Oh, cool. All right, well, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be back in about 4.5 minutes. So go get some popcorn or a drink and come back and get comfy, because Jason's going to do a review for the new Wicked movie. And we're going to do some Amazon shopping at the end of the show. And I have an announcement to make at the end of the show as well that might excite someone. So stick around. Please, we're going to have a really exciting second hour.
Yeah.
We lost 7 viewers, as I said that.
For manga, I would suggest Twin Star Exorcists.
Oh,
it's like,
you told me about this.
It's more of a... it's more of a magic thing. It's not really superhero. It's more of a magic thing, but yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
We'll see you in just a few minutes, folks. welcome back, everybody, to the second half of tonight's edition of the Captain Logan Show. And even though his name is not in the title like mine, my son has a segment
I do.
that we do in every show because nepotism. And
Because I'm sorry, what?
I'm just joking. And now it's time to get a review from Jason. Did you get your sign? Because you said you were going to do like a sign flip
Yeah.
with this.
Because it's kind of like a sign. Because it's kind of like a how it felt about
It's like a how you felt about it.
It's how I felt about it. How Jason felt about it.
And then throw in questions for the segment right after this, and we will talk to you guys about whatever you want to talk about. We certainly appreciate all of the interaction. Jason went to see Wicked with some friends of his last week from dance class. Mm-hmm. It was a big
group.
It was a big
private
dance
screening
event. It was was it a private screening?
Yeah.
That's cool. And again, I've not seen it yet, so I'm curious to hear Jason's thoughts, particularly about Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
But yeah, take it away.
So before I talk about this, I'm just gonna warning. I have not seen the musical, and I have not read the book, so this is gonna be more of a review on the piece. I don't know which it won't be. I won't be being like, oh, this doesn't adapt this well, because I don't know.
Sure, you have to review it just as a movie.
Right, I'm gonna review it as a piece, and that the story as they put it.
So all you really know about the material before this is the most famous movie ever made.
Well,
The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, and also like I knew the basic premise of the musical, but yes, The Wizard of Oz.
What is the basic premise of the musical for people that have not seen that?
So the basic premise of the musical is there's this high school I think it's a high school called Shiz that there's a girl who was born green, and nobody likes her because she's green. Oh. And whenever she gets mad, she has magic powers, but only when she's mad.
Like the Hulk. And so her secret is not that she's always angry.
Yes.
I see.
Yes. And basically, she meets this girl named Glinda, who,
Sure.
Who is mean to her, but wants to be friends with her because she feels bad that she's not as rich as her.
Gooster says you're wrong. It's more like a university.
Okay. I couldn't tell.
These days universities are basically high school anyway. It's fine.
Sure. But yeah, basically they both end up going to class, and they end up becoming friends, and then this is before she becomes the Wicked Witch and whatever. And so basically, the main teacher, who is that actress that's in everything now, who is in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, I knew she was in that.
Yeah.
Why is her name not coming to me? Go ahead.
But she ends up
Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
She's in everything.
She's in everything now. But yes, she's the main teacher in this, and she finds out that Elphaba has magic powers, and so she wants to train her, and so that she can visit Oz. And so that's basically the plot.
So you took a book series that was originally for children and you turned it into modern YA.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your review, Jason? What's the movie like?
I actually like this.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was very, I mean, as far as how it looks, it's very much what I expected. It's very, it is very CG, in places. And I'll throw out one of my bad things, right now, which is, the CG is not terrible. Like, the movie is watchable, but it's not good.
Yeah.
And, there's a big thing with animals in this.
Yeah, Goofster said it turns out the Wicked Witch is just an animal rights activist.
Yes.
He's I hope part 2 goes deeper into the politics than the musical does.
Yeah, so this has like a Planet of the Apes story by the end, where, and these are like minor spoilers, where it turns into a humans are terrible to animals plot, which I like those plots, so
okay.
I was fine with that. But yeah, the CG is not great as far as the animals go, and then there's also a thing at the beginning where they have to do CG. It's only for like 2 seconds, but they do have to do CG versions of the 4 people in Wizard of Oz walking down the yellow brick road.
Oh, of course. Now, yeah, you told me that there were some kind of irritating prequel kind of
Yeah.
memorabilia sorts of things.
Yeah, so that's another.
Was there a lot of like,
big
remember
thing.
the Wizard of Oz?
So yeah, we have to.
Is it more like? Sorry, is it more remember the Wizard of Oz, or is it more we have to have like cutesy origins? For
we have
everything?
to have an origin for everything.
Okay.
So it's like,
All
oh
right.
look,
so it's underdog.
now she has her hat, and now she has her broomstick.
Oh no.
And she's.
I may not see it now.
Glinda is like dressing up Elphaba, and during a song, which is actually my favorite song, because I've actually heard the at least most of the soundtrack, but I just didn't really know the story very well. She's like dressing her up, and she literally puts her on red shoes.
Yeah.
And it's like, stop. And then
it sounds like Ghost Rider.
Yeah, and
now he gets his chains.
The worst.
And now he gets his jacket.
The worst thing is there has to be an origin for the yellow brick road where Jeff Goldblum has this like machine where he has this like model of the town, and he's like, I've also come up with this
Please excuse the crudity of this model.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I've also come up with this thing, this brick road, so that people know exactly where to find me, right? But I don't know what color to make it. And
no!
So they keep like, so they're like, oh, should it be a red brick road or a blue brick road? And it goes on for like 2 minutes.
That's terrible. Do they have an explanation for the horse of many colors?
No.
They didn't do that, did they?
And there's an origin for the flying monkeys.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Do they have a scene where they have people planting the poppies?
There is a...
Tell me they didn't do that.
There is a whole poppy thing.
Oh, God.
Like,
of course there is.
There's actually a whole thing where, basically, there's this main animal guy who's basically, like, Hagrid in Harry Potter, and this whole thing has a very, like, Harry Potter vibe.
Somebody
to it.
said that in the comments, yeah.
And I was really in the mood for Harry Potter.
Yeah, Dan Stan brought that up.
So this is...
so it scratched that itch a little bit.
Yeah, so that was one of my good things, actually, is... I was actually kind of in the mood for something like this. But he has a whole thing where, like, he really likes poppies, and so the Elphaba just keeps giving him poppies.
Austin says, this sounds like the worst movie ever.
Like an apple. But I don't know.
Yeah, you're saying you enjoyed it, but everything you're telling me about it makes me not want to see it.
The thing is
that stuff few and far between enough?
It is.
Or...
It is. It, like, you don't even... I didn't even really think about it. Like,
okay.
Most of it is toward the end, where I started being like, oh, wait. Why do they keep
We're doing all the setup.
this? Yeah. And it's for me it's a bunch of little nitpicks. Where it's like, oh, I don't know why they did this, and but like overall it's all right. Elphaba is an actually entertaining character. I did not think she was gonna be fun to watch at all.
Was that actress pretty good?
And yeah, both her and Ariana Grande were actually all right.
Okay.
I was not expecting her to either of them to do as well as they did, but
yeah,
they can act, so
that's great.
And then the big thing is Jeff Goldblum, who he's great.
Yeah, of course he is.
And he's only there for the last like 20 minutes, but he's the Wizard of Oz. So, the funniest thing in the movie.
Do they have an origin for all of the guilds? Like, let's make the Lollipop Guild.
No, I don't think so.
Do they do anything with the Munchkins?
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
There is a Munchkin love interest.
Oh.
Yep.
Are the Munchkins all CG?
No.
Or are they little people? Or
they're little people.
Are they just short actors, or are they little people?
They're little people.
Oh, that's great. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Is it the same little person? Is it like Deep Roy in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
There's not that
or
many.
Or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
There's not that
There's
many.
not that many, okay.
So, yeah. And if they do have a group of them, I think it is CG, but I don't know actually.
Nicholas Bodo, isn't the wizard a terrible person in Wicked? Yeah.
Yes.
Is he playing as kind of a bad person?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, and he plays that well.
I mean, that's good if that's what it's supposed to be.
Because
yeah.
the whole thing is like we think it's good, and then we side with Elphaba, and
I mean spoilers,
like,
but
yeah,
sure.
it's not. He asked.
You can kind of see it coming. Yeah.
But yeah. He's hilarious. He starts like dancing behind a curtain with a big moon, and then he pulls his head out of the curtain, and he's like, "Okay, all done now. Go, moon, go away."
Oh.
And but yeah, he was funny.
Austin, I didn't know there was a new Snow White trailer. I have not looked at that.
Oh, I'm not looking at that.
Yeah, I don't want to, but
Probably will.
I say that I've seen a couple little snippets of it because I listened to a podcast that mentioned something about that. Now that I'm thinking about it, but
really?
I haven't actually watched it. Yeah.
But yeah, the funniest thing in the movie, well, one of the funniest things for me in the movie is they made a huge statue that they put at toward the first 15 minutes of the movie. They made a huge statue of Jeff Goldblum's face, and he's not even anywhere close to there in the movie. But I just found that really funny that they actually did that.
Oh yeah, I did see that they did the CG dwarves because everybody complained about the diverse hodgepodge of people they had as the dwarves, and so they just replaced them with 3D cartoon characters that look like the originals.
What?
Dancing around the main actress, yeah.
No,
and
that's even worse.
It looks horrifying, yeah.
No.
These things can't decide if they're cartoons or not.
Oh my gosh.
This thing needed to just be scrapped. Because at this point, they're just trying to salvage what they've already spent with a movie nobody wants to see.
Yeah.
And with an actress that seems to almost be actively trying to sabotage it with everything she says.
Hate her.
A lot of people seem to, yeah.
Well, and I already hated her before the Snow White thing because she's terrible in Shazam 2, and that was her first big breakout thing. The big thing that I have with this though is it's too long.
Is it?
It's
like 240, right?
It's almost 3 hours. And
now a lot of classic musicals are really long.
Sure, but it's based on a Broadway musical that is 2 hours and 45 minutes. And it only does the first act of the thing. and 2 hours and 45 minutes includes a 15-minute break.
Yeah,
a 15-minute.
Oh, so it actually has an intermission?
The Broadway play does.
Oh, okay. The movie doesn't.
The movie doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I wish it did, because that would be awesome. And there's cool callbacks to old like musicals and stuff in it.
So do you feel like there's no good reason... Well, I've got a couple questions now that you said that. Yeah. Do you feel like there's no good reason that it needed to be split into two like this? So it's doing the Harry Potter thing, but for no reason? Like, do you think they could have just adapted it?
They're more adapting the book and more doing the politics of the book. But I think there are certain things that I think could have been scrapped or made shorter.
Is the musical aspect of it too few and far between, where it's like it's trying to do both, or is it still a straight on musical?
It's still a straight on musical.
Did they add songs?
No, I don't think so.
And the other thing I was going to ask you is, do they do, like throwback old school opening credits where they do like all the credits at the front?
No, but they do the classic title card for Wizard of Oz, but it says Wicked.
Okay.
Like in front of it, but it has that font.
Okay, but it wouldn't be sepia tone.
And then it also...
It doesn't open in sepia tone, does it?
No.
Okay.
It's overlaid on top.
Okay.
But it is that font, and then there is a actual title card for To Be Continued, also in that font.
This is the most obvious possible thing to say. Like,
yes.
Like nobody's gonna probably disagree with this, but it had been like a million years since I'd seen any of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And I put that on for the girls a week ago.
Yeah.
For our twins, and I stepped in and out. I didn't sit down and watch the whole thing. I watched about the first 20 minutes, and then I kind of stepped out to do something and went in and out.
Yeah.
That still holds up.
Yeah, I think it does.
It's ridiculous how close we're getting to almost that movie being almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely.
Yeah.
And delightful. And ridiculous how, like, well shot that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy.
Go back to sets with matte paintings, folks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's great.
I will say, this does make me a little more curious about the book.
Okay. You gonna get it?
I might read it. I might get it. But yeah, overall, I am feeling it. Although I have, I do have some nitpicks about it, but it was fun. I think it kind of did help that it was longer, so the nitpicks were more few and far between. But then one of my nitpicks is it's too long, so it's like I don't really know. But the fact that it's the first act and it's like I don't know. I feel like some of it is a little too drawn out for it to only be the first act. And yeah. But yeah, that's...
Well, thanks for that review. I'm mixed now, you know? Because I don't... Like, a lot of what you said makes me not want to see it. But the fact that you enjoyed it makes me curious.
The problem is
I won't go to the theater, but I might see it after it comes out on video.
I don't have enough, like...
Like, if you put it on for the family, I wouldn't, like, leave the room.
Mm-hmm. I think I have more, like, specific bad things than just, like, overall good things, you know?
Yeah. Austin, I've never seen Return to Oz either.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
It's supposed to be really weird.
Let's watch it.
How do we all feel about Oz the Great and Powerful? Yeah, I mean, no, I have seen that.
Have you?
That was a mixed bag.
Yeah,
that's the one from like a decade and a half ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It was all right.
Okay.
I'm not remembering a lot. I remember liking it okay when I was watching it. It also felt overly long. Hey, let's do some Q&A, folks. It's the Captain Logan Show. Once again, if you want to throw out a topic about anything under the sun within reason, or a question, leave a super chat in a dollar amount, or just leave a regular comment and tag Jason. And let's see what folks want to talk about for the next 20 minutes or so.
Yes. Okay.
What's up, folks?
I have a question from Noel Anderson.
Yeah.
Cap and Jason, although I don't have an answer for this. What did you think about the Bayverse Transformers? Oh, he says Transformers.
I mean, not unpredictably, I'm not a fan of any of that. And some of those I have found more watchable than others. When it feels like a bazillion years ago now, thinking back to that first movie, because I was so impressed with the visual effects in that and just how real the Transformers looked that it hurt my feelings that I was watching a thing that looked like meticulously rendered over 10 years to look. I mean, it wasn't, but I remember to this day thinking that in the theater where I was like, how did this not take 10 years to render? It hurt my feelings that a movie that looked that good rubbed me the wrong way the way it did. Because I enjoyed the action and I liked some choices, but I didn't understand why a kind of family movie like that was about kids' toys and throwing back as much as it was to Spielberg, I thought, had to have the raunchy humor that it did. And then the second movie takes the 80-20 split of that and it completely flips it. And it's like, let's take that raunchy comedy, put it everywhere, and get even less interesting with the locales. So let's have the last fight be in a desert. These are also movies that are way too long and drawn out. And then they start leaning more into the silliness and the kind of hokey cartoon stuff. And mileage varies with raunchy humor after that. So they're all more watchable after that, except for maybe Black Knight. I don't like that one. But I thought the one before that was the best of them. Probably nobody else agrees. Like, I know some people like that third one okay. Dark of the Moon, because they didn't have the rights to put the word side in it. Like, they would have gotten sued over that.
Dark
so they
of
went,
the Moon.
Dark of the Moon.
Wait, why not?
It's like, because Pink Floyd.
But, like, there are other things that are Dark Side of the Moon. I don't know.
I always wanted it to have, like, brackets with no word after. It was like Dark Brackets of the Moon.
Dark.
And then I hated Bumblebee, and I know I'm in the minority with that too. I guess that doesn't count because now it's a reboot, even though that movie was in some ways it felt like trying to line up with the other movies, and in some ways wasn't, and couldn't decide if it was a reboot or what or not, but officially is. I don't know. The best theatrical Transformers movie next to 86 now to me is Transformers 1, which is not in that continuity at all, not even talking to that continuity. But yeah, I don't have much more else to say about it. And you've not watched those at all, I don't think.
I have not. I've been curious about the first one, but not
yeah, I mean,
really
I'll watch that with you at some point.
any of the others. So.
It has a transforming Mountain Dew vending machine called Dispensor, which is just automatically my favorite Transformer.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, it's got a Mountain Dew machine that in the third act transforms into a Transformer. It's Dispensor. One thing I do really appreciate with those movies is that the Transformers, if memory serves, because I haven't watched these in a long time, but if memory serves and if I understood it right, the idea is you're a Transformer and then you come to Earth and then you like take the form of things that are already on Earth as the thing you transform into. That always made more sense to me than the way the cartoons tend to do it. Like, even Transformers 1, it's like
you can transform into anything.
he turned, like, you've got Optimus Prime and he turns into an 18-wheeler in a world that doesn't have those.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a good point.
It's like it's not a human world, but they transform into things that only human beings like you've got Soundwave that turns into a tape deck, but it's not Earth in the 80s, so why does he turn into a tape deck? So like I much prefer the idea that they get here and then they pick those forms. It makes a lot more sense to me, but I'm not really a Transformers guy, so what do I know? Maybe there's an explanation
what do you
for
know,
it.
Dad?
I've never understood.
I feel like you have seen a lot of Transformers, though, not being a Transformers.
But every time I talk about Transformers, there's always some massive Transformers guy that comes out and goes, "You just don't understand, and you need to look more at it." So I don't think I can see enough Transformers and actually understand this franchise. But And here's the thing. I'm fine with the kind of, like, tongue-in-cheek absurdity of if we stay on Cybertron, they turn into all these things and you just don't question it. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that then they come to Earth. Mm-hmm. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Austin says in G1 they turn into shapes on Cybertron. See, that makes more sense. Okay, so even the original Transformers had an explanation for this. Okay. So as much as I love Transformers 1, I am going to complain about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless they never went to Earth. If they never went to Earth, I'm fine with it. But also, I want Transformers to never have human beings in it.
I will say something about because this actually is relevant to this. Something.
Well, that would be a good reason to bring it up. Go ahead.
Something else I forgot about Wicked is I think the like transformation from good guy to bad guy is like feels better than in Transformers 1, because I feel like in Transformers 1 he just kind of becomes a bad guy randomly, and I didn't really like that, where there's not as much of a build up.
I think it tracks.
I didn't think it worked, but I do think it works better.
He has such a shattering disillusionment because he trusts the system, he trusts his government, and he wants to be able to just do what he's told and what's expected of him and to follow his preordained destiny. When that's taken from him, he goes, well, we're supposed to, like, even if it's a dictator or a despot or something, we're supposed to have one person that is a good leader and tells us all what to do, and if we're not going to have that, I will be that. And I think that tracks. I think it totally works.
Yeah.
So I'll defend it.
Okay.
I'll defend it. All right. What else do you have, Jason?
Let's do another Patreon question.
Okay.
This is a Patreon question from SS Jerry.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
And he says, fan cast the Friends main cast members as comic book characters. No rules at all, go.
No rules at all. Okay. Well, at least we don't have to spend 5 minutes talking that out. So, main Friends cast, we'll throw out a character. I didn't look at this question ahead of time. I didn't know this was coming. Okay. So I've not thought about this at all.
Okay.
So he said comic book characters. Could be DC, could be Marvel, but could be independents in anything.
Right.
So we have to pick characters. So when he says fan casting, it would be just characters that it would be
the actors who portrayed the Friends main.
Oh, I was interpreting it as characters in comics that were most like a Friends counterpart.
Yeah, he did say
he said characters, not. Oh, he said the actors.
Yeah, he said the main cast.
Okay, well, we can do it that way. So we pick an actor from the main six in Friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we fan cast it.
Yes.
See, this is always difficult with. I'm stalling because I don't know what I'm going to say. This is always difficult with actors that aren't action actors.
Right.
Where it's like you have to cast them as. And I guess they don't have to be heroes or villains. They could even be like side characters, supporting characters.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's start with Phoebe, I guess.
Phoebe.
Yeah. I guess the obvious thing to do is Harley Quinn, but we can probably do better than that.
Right.
The thing is, it's hard not to just go to comedic characters because they're comedic characters and comedic actors.
Kira from Power Rangers Dino Thunder.
That's not a comic book character.
Yeah, but she's in comic books.
Yeah, okay, there are no rules.
Yeah, there are no rules, Dad.
Oh, okay. Is there a female X-Man you can make her? Could she be magic?
She could.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You got to think of, because I don't want to just do like obvious jokey characters.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay. This is hard.
I mean, yeah.
And I don't want to take all day with it, but I want to try to come up with decent things.
Right.
Okay, what about Joey? You know, you need somebody sort of bumbling. Oh, that's good. That's good, but it's like we go to Clayface for everything now.
Right, but he's an actor, so he's Clayface.
Oh, there you he's an actor, so he's Clayface.
Yeah.
That's so good. Cinematographic says Jennifer Aniston is Emma Frost. Maybe. We'll get back to that. Okay, you know what? I'm fine with the Joey fan casting. We just move on from there. That's pretty good.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking of more DC than
Yeah.
Marvel right now. But,
Sure.
Okay. Well, Chandler. I mean, Chandler's a bigger guy, so.
This is riveting. This is tough. Yeah, my mind's blanking real hard.
Man. Yeah, this is hard.
Because again, they're not action
action.
actors.
Yeah.
So I don't immediately get a flash of somebody that would fit in a costume or,
Right.
you know. And like you get a character that's real sarcastic like that. Immediately, I just go to characters like Foggy Nelson and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe the. Well, no, it wouldn't be. Because I was gonna say Booster Gold, but that's almost the opposite. Like he's so full of himself.
Right.
What's the most self-deprecating?
Booster Gold would be a good Joey.
Maybe, yeah. Like what's the most self-deprecating Marvel or DC character you can think of? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like somebody that just doesn't like that. Okay, Chandler is the spot. Move on.
Sure.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I did one. I came up with one. Austin, Matthew Perry as an original hero, the inventor of sarcasm. Austin likes to make fun of Matthew Perry for essentially claiming that he invented sarcasm, which is not what he
Really?
thinks he's doing or thought he was doing. Rest in peace, but yeah. Yeah, he took a lot of credit for the line delivery that he does. It's really popular in that show. Like nobody had ever done it before, and I kind of agree with Austin that wasn't like brand new or anything. You know, the whole like you know, could you be any dumber or whatever?
Yeah.
That whole thing. And then Austin likes to take that as all the way to the nth degree and go, he thinks he invented sarcasm.
Oh man.
Andrew Gazzini, Joey could also be Hush. Okay. Sure, or the Riddler, I guess.
Yeah. Joey is probably the easiest one.
And then the Chandler could be the Riddler. That'd be all right.
Yeah, I think that could work.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
let's do the rest of the girls, shall we?
Sure. Monica.
My brain's also going to. Monica is Shriek from Spider-Man.
Okay. Sure.
There you go.
Trying to think of someone who has like really like who's man, I'm just Gwen Stacy.
Who's Gwen Stacy? Monica?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like Shriek.
And then Jennifer Aniston, Rachel is gonna be Typhoid Mary.
Okay.
I'm just going to Marvel villains now.
Yeah.
All right, there are no rules. It can be anything we want. And
And then
Nicholas Bodo, Matthew Perry is Carnage. And then we missed Ross, didn't we? Yeah.
I mean,
See, it's
to be
easier
fair-
to go to villains because they don't have to be like bulky and heroic looking.
Right. And also, they're kind of mean to each other in that show, so.
That's true. Yeah, it's kind of easier to go. Well, and Ross is a horrible human being.
Yes, he is. So, Russ, yeah.
Yeah. So he's Electro.
Sure.
Or I actually could sort of see him as the Riddler. Like, yeah, like he needs to be somebody sort of like nerdy and intellectual.
Mm-hmm. I think Riddler actually works.
Or Clue Master.
Yeah.
That might be good.
Yeah. I mean, there are six.
Ross is Professor Pig.
There are six of
God.
them, so they can
They
be
could be
all
the
Power
Sinister
Rangers.
Six.
Yeah, they can all be.
They
the
could be Power
Sinister
Rangers
Six.
or they could be the Sinister Six.
Or
We
Power
should have
Rangers.
cast them all as Spider-Man villains in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chandler as the Rhino.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on.
Okay.
Folks, we'll still take questions for about 10 minutes if you want to throw anything else in.
Yeah. if you guys have any questions. Yeah, I don't have anything right now.
Okay, well, we can go ahead and start the last segment, and then if people want to throw other stuff in, we can jump back. Yeah. Sure. Let's do a new segment called Alfred Let's Go Shopping. That's an 89 reference. That could be foreshadowing for later. Alfred Let's Go Shopping. So we are in Cyber Monday week, and Amazon still has some deals. So let's see if we can help everybody, Jason, come up with Christmas present ideas or stocking stuffers and such for their geeky friends. And so we'll do a few keyword searches for geeky things and see what pops up in the holiday deals section on Amazon. And we're going to start with Batman.
Yeah.
If also in the comments, if there is anything that you want us to throw in the search bar, give us suggestions.
Yeah.
We'll do Batman. We might do Star Trek. We might do, Spider-Man or Marvel or things like that. We might look at video games. Let's see what happens.
All right, so let's start with Batman.
Okay, we started with Batman.
And the best thing about Batman is that the overall pick for Batman is Superman.
Yeah.
Because the best thing about Batman is Superman.
So this search has a really bizarre algorithm, apparently.
Yes, because Superman is better.
Okay. And the thing is, you're always going to get sponsored things that are maybe tangentially related but aren't actually the thing you look for, but this is the overall pick.
Overall pick for
Batman. Your overall pick would at least be a Batman thing. But no, it's super, like it's not a Batmobile, it's not a Batcave, it's Superman.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking for actual deals here, $51.99 down from $64.99, and this is sponsored. So look, it's almost like they flipped it. This should be the sponsored thing. And this should be the overall pick. Mm-hmm. The Batman construction figure. These look stupid, by the way. This is from.
I don't like these.
Is this from the Batman, or is this Dark Knight?
This is Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Look at his chest.
But
he's got like a Batman Returns chest, or a Batman Returns like stomach.
Yeah.
The Batpod looks good.
Yeah, it looks alright.
But he looks.
But why
dopey.
There's a thing called minifigures. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, minifigures work a lot better.
There are also things called playsets. Why do you need to... You already have playsets. You don't need to do something
I've never
like
liked
that.
These. Wow, look at this guy.
Heck yes.
The cutopia.
Cutopia,
We're trying too hard. Hey guys, Batman TAS is down to 40 from 80 if you don't have the Blu-ray.
Oh wow.
And that's a spectacular set. So now's the time if you don't have that, grab it. I sure do.
Oh boy.
I sure do.
Hot Wheels.
That's not on sale though. Let's just look at the stuff that's on sale. Oh look, the Batman 80th anniversary that my wife gave me for my birthday or Christmas last year. I can't remember. I think it was my birthday. Is down from $89 to $46.99, and that's a great set. But just beware if you buy that. And I cut a short out of a video about this. I thought it was so funny. So you can go check that out. The discs have really weird assortments of unrelated movies on them. They didn't put it in any order whatsoever. So don't watch them in order, folks. It's weird. The Batman One Bad Day box set down to $87.99 from $159.99.
What is that?
So I would assume that this is stories related in some way to Killing Joke, because One Bad Day is the kind of catchphrase.
Did Batman have a bad day again?
Someone, well, Joker did. It's the kind of a Joker origin.
Okay.
With the idea being that anybody could turn into something like the Joker if they had one bad day. Sure. But yeah, let's see what is here. So these are all stories about various villains. So Killing Joke is here, and then we just have a bunch of other books that I assume are... Let's see what's actually here. Is it each one story, or is it?
It looks like it's each one story.
There's some Tom Taylor stuff. I wonder what each of these are. Each spotlighting a new definitive standalone story for Batman's greatest villains. Oh,
this is all
it's all new except for Killing Joke.
Oh,
I may want to get my hands on this.
oh boy.
Interesting. I had not heard about this. I'll look into this and see if any of these stories are supposed to be good, though, because I don't like a lot of more recent stuff, I'm sorry to say. And you got King, who's the most hit and miss writer there is now. And then Tom Taylor is here. Tom Taylor on Ra's al Ghul. Kind of surprising. Who I like, but he tends to be a little cartoony. But he's the guy that does Injustice. Okay. The Batman Interactive Gauntlet with over 15 phrases and sounds.
Heck yeah! What does it say?
That's not on sale. I wonder if there's any video of this. This should just be what we do on the Captain Logan show. Is there?
There is.
Oh, that kid's really sick. Wow, he's got the Keaton eyebrows. Look at him.
He does.
Well, you be that. That's all you need.
That's all you. This is interactive gauntlet.
If you want to be Batman, that's all you need. Okay, play the sounds. Thank you for showing me what those buttons do. What is that? It sounds sort of like a Batwave.
Bat computer coming online. Killer Croc has been seen in downtown Gotham City. How would you...
Batman, there's a new villain. His name is Mr. Freeze. What I like about this, can this just be the Captain Logan show from now on? Can we just go shopping on every Captain Logan show? I like that it's a Bat computer that talks to you as Batman.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I thought it was going to be goofier. I thought it was going to be like Batman is talking through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Would you like to proceed?
I like that they're not spoiling every phrase. Be Batman.
Be Batman.
That's all you need, folks.
I be Batman.
That's all you need.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, we go through double A's in this house like crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the coolest thing I've seen so far, Jason. I like
dun,
it's not even on sale. It's not even on sale. Okay, let's do another keyword.
Okay.
We're learning about some interesting things here, though. Does anybody have keyword ideas?
Does anyone have any ideas?
I'm asking you because I'm not looking at the chat right now. Nobody said anything. Okay, let's see what's in here. Well, let's not do Ninja Turtles because that'll make me sad because it'll just be stuff from the new show, right?
Yeah.
In the new movie.
Yeah.
Let's do Star Trek real quick.
Okay.
Let's see if there's anything cool in here for Star Trek.
Star Trek.
The TOS Steelbook. Have you seen this? It's pretty. This is not on sale, I don't think. But this is a really handsome looking set.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And I don't need to buy TOS yet again. I've already got that on Blu-ray, but
yeah, but it's cool
both ways. But you can get TNG for $128 for the Blu-ray. That's not a great price. I'm not seeing
those Spocks.
So I looked this up for holiday deals, and I'm not seeing anything really on sale. The overall pick is not on sale.
Right, but everything else is.
Oh, this is. Oh, you're right. You're right. This isn't.
Right.
This stuff's not.
But the Spocks are.
Oh, okay.
Spocks.
Do you really want ears on your socks?
Yes.
Like that's stupid. It's dumb. Hey, have you seen the Borg Bluetooth speaker? I really want one of these.
Oh my gosh, you gotta
neat.
get it.
It's also not on sale, unfortunately. Not a lot of stuff on sale. Oh, and then we could go down a whole rabbit hole with the Tubbs docks.
Mm-hmm.
These things have gotten really collectible and get expensive, which is goofy. Like it seems like people have kind of turned these into the new pop figures in some ways. Maybe more so, because a lot of these seem to get expensive very quickly. But anyway, Jason, I've shown you some of these, but they get really silly.
They get really
one,
silly.
The Q one is amazing. There's some really cool ones. The Picard Legacy Collection is really pretty looking. I don't like Picard, so I don't think I would ever buy that, but I love the color scheme of it. Mm. So they put up a sponsored running shirt that just sort of looks like it could be in Star Trek. And then USS Enterprise sleek pajama pants.
Yes, that's what we need.
Jason, let's do one more keyword search. Here's, for no reason at all, just Battlestar Galactica popping up. But I've been having an hankering to go back and rewatch that. I have almost bought my wife this tool set a couple of times because my wife is more handy than I am and hasn't had a tool set in a while. So yes, I'm the husband that might buy his wife a tool set.
Heck yes.
But it's 2024. We don't have to adopt exact gender norms anymore, I guess. Jason,
okay,
give me one more.
Well, Nicholas Bodo said Megatron.
Just Megatron?
Just
well,
Megatron.
Let's do Transformers. Transformers.
Oh my gosh, no. Not the Legos again.
Yeah, they're pushing those really hard, aren't they? So some of the Transformers stuff is Transformers 1 stuff is on sale.
Transformers 1, 2 in 1.
That's like Ultimate Comics, Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Comics presents Ultimate Spider-Man. Not a lot of Transformers stuff on sale, I'm sorry to say. Maybe there was more on sale actually over Black Friday. Except for this creepy Bumblebee mask. So that's great.
I think...
This isn't even Transformers, but that car looks cool.
It is a transforming robot.
It is.
There's the Jurassic Park one.
Oh man. So they've been doing a lot of kind of mashups with Transformers and other properties lately. And there is one for Ninja Turtles that's really cool. That's the Turtle Van, but it's a Transformer. That Mikey's been wanting real bad. And this is the Jurassic Park. I didn't know about this. This is the Jurassic Park Jeep. I would much prefer a Transformer that turns into the into the Explorer, because I'm obsessed with the Explorer. But this is cool too.
I prefer the Jeep.
It's the Dilophosaurus. So they called it the Dilophosaurus.
That's hilarious.
It's down from $75 to $35.89, which translates to now it's sort of affordable.
Yeah.
This makes no sense at $75. And that Ninja Turtles one is $50, which I think is too high.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Anyway,
what they do is they put it on sale constantly, so it looks like a deal.
That's not true though, because it actually is rare for these to go on sale.
Okay.
There's also this giant Dilophosaurus toy that I don't know if you've seen it, but it's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, that just came out recently. Anything anybody else is talking about, Jason, before we go to my big announcement?
I don't think so.
Nicholas Bodo, nobody cared who Bumblebee was until he put on the mask. Okay, so here is my announcement, and nobody go to sleep when I start this off by bringing up Patreon, because it is a thing that will sort of pertain to everybody that cares. But like I said, I've been kicking this around for a while, trying to noodle cool new things I could bring to Patreon, because we've been working, like I said, real hard on the movie, and just getting schedules together and stuff. It's been difficult to do very many After Darks lately. And I try to do at least one a month. I like to do 2 a month if possible. And we will still do some After Dark even along with this. It may not be twice a month. We'll keep shooting for at least 1 a month. But I wanted to come up with something I could do solo where I didn't have to rely on anybody else, and I could knock one out when I needed to so that Patreon got content. Exclusive content. But the thing that I'm gonna announce now that I'm gonna start doing next year, so this will begin in January, and I'll, for folks that missed this show, I'll post about this in the community tab too. The way and all of this is subject to change. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about right now, and this is almost certainly the way I'm going to do it. But I want to put in the caveat, it's subject to change in case something happens between now and January that makes me go, oh wait, I can't do it this way. But I think this will be fine. This will work. It's a show that I'm gonna do. No, it's not OnlyFans, Austin. It's a shush, Austin. It's a show, and Austin knows what this is too. It's a show that I'm going to broadcast publicly. So if you happen to be around when I initially do the broadcast, you'll be able to watch it even if you're not a patron, but you'll have to be a patron in order to watch it after the fact or to go back and look at it again later.
Yeah.
This is a thing that Robert and lots of other folks have joked about forever, thinking I wouldn't be crazy enough to do it. But by God, folks,
Yeah.
I'm gonna finally do it. It's usually gonna be me solo. I might occasionally have a co-host on it. And it's a
Might
thing.
spice it up a bit.
And it's a thing that will be Patreon content and live if you happen to be there for the next 2 years. It will take me that long to do this. It will usually be weekly. And I always hesitate announcing things like this because I don't like announcing big projects that have a clear endpoint and then have to stop them because there's not enough interest. This is a thing I'm going to do regardless. Even if hardly anybody watches it, I'm going to do it. It's a thing I've wanted to do forever, and it doesn't take a lot of prep, and I know nose to the grindstone I can do this. I'm going to find Jason. I'm going to finally do 89 Batman 89 commentaries. Yeah, yes, I
Yeah.
am. Who knows what this is going to end up looking like? It's going to be a crazy social experiment. Let's see if I can stand watching the same movie essentially every week for 2 years, and if it makes me not like that movie anymore. That's what Austin and Jason are both worried will happen with me. I don't think so. I think I'm immune to watching Batman 89
I've watched it a lot.
too many times. I've watched it a lot. And I've already done, I think, 11 commentaries on the channel.
But you're not going to
already.
do 73.
No, I'm going to do 89. I will, by the end of this, I will have
72.
100 Batman 89 commentaries.
Wow.
I should get in Guinness for this. I'll be the only person on the planet that has ever done this. I'm going to watch Batman 89 times. And I may, by the middle of it, not even be talking that much about the movie anymore. I will be watching it, and I will be talking to an audience, and that is what I can promise the show will be. It'll be a crazy social experiment. And if you happen to be around while I'm doing it, you can hang out with me, and we can chat about all kinds of things, including 89, but anything else under the sun. And it'll be like the old manias where there are no rules. We don't even have to necessarily talk about the movie, but very often we will. I might do some silly gimmicks with it, but it will just be me.
I know a silly gimmick you can do.
Yeah, sure.
You should do
I'm not doing it upside down where you're wondering if I'm sleeping or exercising. Okay, I'm not doing that.
You should do it with John and do 24 hours of the same movie over and over again so that you can get multiple commentaries in one.
I actually thought about doing that with this at one point. That's the way I would do it. It wouldn't be 89, but I would just, okay, I'm going to finally get the multiple 89 commentary thing out of my system by just doing it in 24 hours.
Over and over again.
That's not how I'm going to do this. But Andrew Kazini, and watch Batman forever. Yeah, that's hilarious. So it will essentially be a podcast where the premise is we're watching Batman 89
Yes.
89 times. And like I said, if you want to have access to it afterwards to see what crazy hijinks happened during it, you have to become a Patreon at just the $2 tier. We're going to do it at the base level, and hoping some folks will come in and join for some extra content. It'll be weekly content for the most part, and we haven't done that on Patreon in a long time. If we've ever had exclusive weekly content on Patreon. I don't think we have. And one of the things I'm hoping to do with this too, especially if it goes well, is start building my collection of Batman 89 in different formats, in different releases. I think it would be really fun to show occasionally. I'm not going to buy it 89 times, and I don't think there's that many different releases of it, even on different formats. But I want to get as many of them as I can, and so occasionally I'll just show off a new DVD or Blu-ray in a different box that I didn't have before, on a different box set that I didn't have before. But I think it would be fun even to occasionally, and obviously you guys won't see it. You'll just have to you don't believe me when I tell you this is what I'm doing. But I think it would be fun to do to occasionally watch it in different formats. So like one of them I'll watch it on VHS, and one of them I'll watch the laser disc.
Yeah.
Probably not beta, because I doubt if I can get a beta player. Those are very expensive and hard to get. But I actually own it on beta, but I don't have a way to play it.
Yeah.
But I can at least, show that one off when I do that.
Yeah. You know what would be funny?
John says he doesn't think he can watch 89 for 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I can watch anything for 24 hours straight anymore. But
yeah. I think. I was gonna say something, but I don't remember what it is. So.
Oh well, sorry about that.
Apparently, I thought something.
Okay.
But.
So yeah, I don't know if this is gonna have a name beyond just Batman 89. 89 times. Like I don't know if it's gonna have a cool, clever name. I haven't come up with anything for it yet, but that's what I'm gonna do. And so let me reiterate for anybody that just came in or that missed it. It will be exclusive to Patreon, except for when I initially broadcasted. I also don't know if, again, this is my watching Batman 89 times. So 89 more Batman 89 commentaries. And it will be very informal and fun. And yeah, I've done the serious, thoughtful Batman 89 commentaries. That's not to say that we won't ever think of more, interesting, thoughtful things to talk about having to do with the movie. It'll also be fun to see just how memorized I have it by the time we're done with this. Nicholas Bodo, I'll be there if it isn't Patreon exclusive. And like I said, the initial live feed won't be, but if you want to watch it after the fact, you'll have to become a patron. I'm also seriously considering, and I'm not saying for sure this is going to happen because I haven't looked into it yet, but I haven't tried to set it up yet. But my channel is eligible to do members. And I'm thinking about doing members on top of Patreon. So if you, for whatever reason, don't want to go through a third party and you want to keep it in YouTube, but you want access to this and any other Patreon perks, you can become a member. And the tiers would be exactly the same. I would just set up the member thing the same way I do Patreon.
Yeah.
And I would do that in conjunction with this. So if we do the member thing, it will be when I first start broadcasting this.
Yeah.
And I'll set that up for January.
Yeah. I think you should. I finally got it back.
Yeah.
I think you should do one where you like watch it with like German subtitles or something, and you just do different things.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And maybe do one with Burton's commentary.
Yeah.
Is it cheating if we mix up the way we watch it? You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you watched it 89 times, but you made it easier on yourself because you gave yourself different stimulation. That's kind of a question.
Yeah.
But we could do it that way.
Yeah, maybe.
When I did that initial week of different Batman 89 commentaries, we did different things with it. Where we did one where we just talked about Bob the Goon.
Yeah.
And we did one where we performed the whole thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
And so I may do some gimmicks like that too, here and there, where you just pick an aspect and talk about it the whole time. One reply, watch all the dubs. Another thing I could do is if there's a track that's just the music and they left the audio out or the dialogue out, I could do it that way and just talk about the music.
You should do one where you're not allowed to move your neck.
That's hilarious. That's great. Well, and there's a replica of an 89 cowl about to come out.
Oh, really?
And get that, and then wear it the whole time.
Yeah, and be like, ugh.
Yeah. All right, well, folks, that's the announcement. Let me know what you think of that.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's a thing that people will enjoy, and hopefully some folks will consider subscribing to Patreon or become a channel member if we do the channel member thing. And we'll have this ridiculous backlog of podcasts that are just me watching one thing.
Yeah.
Jason, you got anything else?
I hope you liked the show.
I thought you were going to say, I hope you like Batman 89.
I hope you like Batman. Yeah, here's the thing. Can you guys watch Batman 89 that many times?
Well, the beauty of it is they don't have to.
Right. They can just
hang out with me while I'm doing it. They don't necessarily have to watch the movie. Although I would, like, obviously, like, kudos and bonus points if anyone is crazy enough to do this experiment along with me. I don't know if anybody will. It's also funny that I'm making this announcement almost directly after a stream we did where you blurted out, I'm kind of tired of Batman 89 because Captain Logan's my dad. I love that you said that really recently, and now I'm making this announcement, and it's really funny.
That is funny, yeah. I think I said that on a stream.
Yeah, I can't
where
remember.
I said the Batman and Batman Forever are my favorite movies because Batman 89 I got sick of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Dan's gonna do one in pantomime. There's a lot of different things I can potentially do with it.
Do one where every 10 minutes you have to spray paint a painting.
I can do the Clark thing, but it's with Bruce.
Bruce!
All right, guys.
Gosh,
we will see you again next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Central Time. Tomorrow night, Austin and I are going to be doing a request on some episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I got to watch that tomorrow. And,
awesome!
I'll post. It's just 3 episodes. I'll post the names of those tomorrow. And Friday night, we're doing the Superhero Rewind commentary on Captain America: First Avenger. So join us, won't you? And thanks a lot for being here. I was Captain Logan, and this is
me,
Jason.
Yeah.
Bye, folks. I muted it. I don't know why I muted it.